Welcome to my channel. I'm Jess from Handmade by Jess. Today we're going to switch lanes a little bit. I'm going to show you a recipe that I make for my family quite often. It's just your typical box cake, ramped up a little bit. I know a lot of you, if you're into making different recipes, there are many styles of the classic pudding cakes out there. This is one that I have put together that my family very much enjoys. So what I'm doing here is I'm just prepping my 13 by 9 baking dish with about 2 tablespoons of butter. We're just gonna rub a nice thick layer of that all over the inside of the dish here so that the cake does not stick to it. And then we will be taking just a basic Devil's Food chocolate cake mix. Excuse me. The only thing that I do different, other than, I follow the directions on the back of the box. I use 4 eggs instead of 3. Or if your box says 2 eggs, use 3. I always use 1 extra egg because it helps make the cake a little more dense, a little more spongy, a little thicker. So that's what I'll be doing here. I'll go ahead and put my 4 eggs into the bowl and I'll give them a quick whisk. And then I will add in my 1/2 cup of oil and my 1 cup of water. Sorry, I didn't realize when I was recording this that bowl was quite large and it's a little out of frame. But that's just basically what I'm doing. I'm going to go through the rest of the directions on the box there. I'm gonna go ahead and bake it at 350 for about a half an hour, just like normal, like you would do if you were just making a regular cake. I always put my wet ingredients together first so I can get them eggs really mixed up, and then I add the dry mix from the box there. I just think everything mixes up a little more easily that way. I've been doing it that way for a long time and I've always had consistent results. So now we've got that all mixed up. You can use a hand mixer if you want. I just use my whisk there. I'm going to go ahead and pour the batter into our prepared pan. And like I said, I will bake it at 350 for about a half an hour. Just spreading out the mixture evenly there. And now here, directly out of the oven, I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going, while it's hot, I'm going to just poke holes into the cake all the way around, all the way to the edge, all the way, through the middle there, every ½ inch or so. We're just going to poke a hole all the way down to the bottom of the cake. And if some of the holes don't open up all the way, I'll re-poke. Then we're going to take 2 small boxes of instant chocolate pudding mix, It has to be instant because we will be mixing that with 4 cups of cold milk. I get best results when using at least 2 of these small boxes. 1 big box of instant pudding doesn't quite seem to be enough, but 2 boxes is almost perfect. So I will just mix in my 4 cups of cold milk to my 2 boxes of instant chocolate pudding mix, and I will whisk that until it starts to thicken. And then again, I will just keep my cake hot and I will pour this pudding right on top of the cake. Now I'm going to kind of let it bounce on the counter. Since my dish was hot, I didn't want it to shatter on me. I've seen that happen to people before. Thankfully, it's never happened to me. But I just put an oven mitt underneath and kind of, tap it on the counter there so that the pudding will go down into the holes. And now we'll come back with frosting mix that I got here. I'm going to use another small box of instant chocolate pudding mix. I'm going to use 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. And then about 5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And before I add any of the wet ingredients, I'm going to just mix those together with my whisk, just to make sure all of that powder is, incorporated together. I'm going to put 1 cup of cold milk into that dry mixture. And this will be pretty thick and very chocolatey. And then we will add a regular 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip into that thick chocolate mix there. And it's going to make for the perfect frosting for on top of the pudding. To be a little thicker than the pudding. So you'll have 3 different textures there. Actually, this cake has 4 different textures, the way I make it. You'll have the spongy cake, the pudding, and now this thicker chocolate frosting. I think they go perfectly together. My family loves this cake. So we will just mix that up pretty good. Make sure everything's incorporated together. The thickness of that chocolate mixture, you need to make sure you mix it really well with the Cool Whip to make sure everything is incorporated. So now we will come back to our cake with the pudding on it, and we will just spoon this across the top of it, and then we will spread it out with a rubber spatula just to make sure it's nice and evenly coated all the way to the edge, covering up the pudding completely. Now, after we do this step, this is where you could choose your toppings. I usually put melted peanut butter on top because that's what my family likes the most, but you could use chocolate chips, you could use caramel candies, you could use sprinkles or mini marshmallows, whatever your family likes or you think they would like, give it a try. I recommend it because this cake is delicious. So I'm going to melt about a cup of peanut butter here. Just plain peanut butter. I'm not going to add anything to it. I'm going to melt it down in the microwave, and I'm going to very generously spoon this over the top of this cake. And we'll just let that, be thicker in some places and thinner in others. Because when the peanut butter hardens back up, it gives that fourth texture with the peanut butter that's even thicker than, the frosting and everything. And this is a very good cake. So now we will stick it in the refrigerator for at least 3 to 4 hours. I suggest making this in the morning if you're going to be taking it to a party or anything like that. Just let it have at least 4 hours, I would say, in the refrigerator, because we did put cold pudding and cold frosting and then warm peanut butter on the warm cake. So we got kind of different temperatures going there, and we want it all to set in the refrigerator. So I'm going to take a piece out and I will show you what it looks like and what it turns out like. And there it is. You can see all the layers. Sorry, my camera is a little out of focus. I don't know if it was the lighting in my kitchen that was catching it. It wouldn't focus when I got up close to it. But you've got the peanut butter on top, the frosting, the pudding, and then the cake. And I'm telling you what, a bite of that and you won't want to stop eating this. This cake is delicious. That's why I wanted to get on here and share this recipe. It's very simple. It's very cheap, and it's a good dessert to make, for your family. I usually make a sweet treat for the week for my family, whether it's fudge or cake or cookies or something just for us to snack on. So this is basically what I would love to share with you. And as always, I would appreciate it if you would like my video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell for notifications. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.